Welcome back to Hope Collides. This is another shorter story. Hopefully, you'll bring hope into your life as well. Several years ago, I was working in Frewsburg and I was helping with Impact Campus Fellowship. So during lunch, we would meet with these students. We were getting to have a speaker come in. In about a month, he was going to come in and do an assembly at the school, and then he was going to do an assembly later that day in the evening for the families to come in. So I'm at Impact, and this girl comes in tears, 7th grade girl, just absolutely bawling. We hadn't known her very well. She had only come a couple weeks prior, and she was just bawling, but she felt comfortable enough with us to cry, which, first of all, we need to make sure we hope to make everyone else comfortable enough where they can cry around us. They can tell us what's actually going on in their life. And she did. Turns out her dad died. Her father... It's a long story, I'm not going to get into it, but he died. And now she and her brother and sister, younger siblings, were living with their dad's girlfriend. And they didn't have much. They were from a more poor family. But we just tried to encourage them. And so a couple of us got together and prayed about what we could do. We decided when that speaker that I spoke about before came in the evening, we were going to try to do a bake sale. But we had to get permission from the speaker and from the school, and we had to set everything up. Well, the speaker got back to us right away and said, sure, go ahead. And the school said, well, we need to talk about it. We can't just give you permission to do that. I'm like, all right. So a week went by, and I tried to call. They still hadn't made a decision. A couple weeks go by. We get 3 days before the event, and we find out they gave us permission to do this bake sale. 3 days to call people and have them start baking things. It was crazy. So we did a lot of prayer, and I thought, if we're lucky, we'll have 24 cookies. So we get there, we set up, had 24 cookies baked by my mom because she's wonderful. And then turns out my mom got a call that day here from a bakery in Buffalo that heard what we were doing, and they donated 24 cookies and brownies. And then we had people come from Panama with cookies. We had people come from Randolph with cookies. If you don't know the area, that's not always the shortest drive, especially that time of year. It was December. And more cookies kept coming and coming and coming where we couldn't fit it on our table. We had to find another table to fill up with cookies. And then we had a basket of things that we were going to auction off that was just dropped off to us, and with tickets. They just dropped everything off and asked us to do it. At the end of the night, we made $495 for this family at one event when we thought we would be lucky to get 15, to be honest with you. But that's what God does. He doesn't always do it this way. It doesn't always look the way we want it to look. In this instance, it did, but he always shows up, and he will always help those who really need it. To the point where a couple weeks later, the girl came back with a necklace that they got in memory of her father, and they got that with the money that we raised, as well as helping pay for the funeral and other expenses. So we raised $500 for this family, and God just really showed up in this instance. So I hope that you take the time to pray and to lean on God, because we had no other option in this story. I hope you have a wonderful day. God bless.